Hey guys, welcome to Nerding Out, the show where us Gamespot nerds and you talk about the things that we like. And today we're talking about Westworld, Season 1, Episode 8, Trace Decay. So let's jump in. Okay guys, so first we're going to talk with our audience. First, they wanted to correct Buddy on something, so let's get that out of the way. Buddy.
Everyone, I'm very sorry for saying Delios, not Delos. I apologize immensely and prostrate myself before you.
Yes, Buddy was called out several times, and he's taken note, so thank you for that, everyone.
Delos.
And it's HBO.
Tomato, potato, Delos, Delios. We also have a comment from Abindandan Pandy who said, I think Charlotte is a host because during the last interaction between Teresa and Ford, he told her about the representative coming from the board and what is noteworthy during the Peacock speech. Ford mentioned his arrangement with the board, which is too precious for either one of them. Now it begs the question, is Delos in on it? Are they colluding with Ford or some hidden agenda? Is the whole park and everyone in it part of a social experiment? What do you guys think?
I think that it would be so interesting if, like, the end of the show was like, all right, let's close it up. The social experiment's done, humans are scumbags. And then the whole thing is just this, like, weird... Like, they just wanted to see what happens if they put, like, some, millionaire philanthropist through this thing where he tests his morals and comes out insane. Like, the whole thing is just the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to, just from what they've dropped on us now, that's, kind of mind-blowing. You're like, oh, my gosh, they're going to hit us hard at the end. And it's going to be something. Everybody's just going to... Yeah.
I hope so. We'll get to predictions at the end. Let's jump into Trace Decay. Let's talk about this episode. So, we were disproven. Teresa is not coming back as a host. But they were making a host down there in the basement. When Teresa got killed, I think it's Elsie. They were making an Elsie bot, and Ford is using Elsie's vacation time to create her and bring her back. Because how are they going to cover up 2 deaths at once? That will be very suspicious.
So, one little thing about that.
Yeah.
If Bernard killed Elsie...
Yes.
We were all under the impression that somebody on Team Delos did it. But if Bernard's working for Ford, and Ford is kind of anti-Delos, what the hell happened down there? I don't know. I have no idea, but I was really confused by that.
Right. I think... Teresa was using that base to send Delos information because they're like, Elsie was like, the last person to send stuff here was Teresa. So she was doing that there. But Bernard was also doing some Secret Arnold stuff down there, I think. I'm also really confused by the timeline because he was totally on the phone with Elsie, then all of a sudden he shows up and chokes her out.
We all know they screw with us.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? How long was she down there? He got there really fast.
Yeah?
Yeah, so... She's going to come back as Elsie Bot, pretty sure. Let's jump into some Dolores stuff. So Dolores is all messed up, and she asked the question that all of us as viewers were asking, when are we? We don't know, Dolores. We don't know.
Yeah.
Gaj, what do you think of this whole Dolores thing? Do you have a theory on this?
So I actually do have a theory where I think Dolores is actually Wyatt.
What?
Because they even made a whole point where the writer is thinking he's building Wyatt, and he gets quickly corrected, like, that's not Wyatt. Ford's really deep in his story. Wyatt's already probably in play, meaning it's probably someone we know. And then this episode, we see Dolores finding the town and having this flashback and seeing, like, herself killing off all the people in that town. And it's the very same type of scene that Teddy keeps picturing when Wyatt killed everyone.
Right.
And it seems like all leads are pointing back, like, to that area. And it just seems like she could very well be Wyatt this whole time. And she's just now remembering everything.
Dude,
it's a
mind
different street corner
blown.
or something. You only do see that one single shot from her point of view.
That's
you
true.
see a different shot. But hold on. Teddy sees a dude.
Teddy sees an image, but we never see the face of who it is exactly. Like, his memories are distorted. Who's to say that seems to be alternate?
He walked up to a guy on the street corner. Didn't he walk up to a dude and they, like, looked at each other, or am I wrong?
Well, memories can be altered, is what we've learned. So who's to say that he thought he saw a dude, but this entire time was actually Dolores? Like, Dolores keeps seeing herself in these things, and she's trying to remember what the heck happened back then.
Up until now, though, they've not shown us things. They showed us something else, like a man, and you're saying in place of a woman. They mess with us with time. I mean, maybe they'll mess with us with gender as well. That makes sense.
Yeah, they very well could. So, back to when are we? Austin, the two timeline theory again. How many timelines are there?
That's the question. Is like when I have no idea where we are, when we are. And because we talked about this two timeline theory and went back and forth, and we're like, the Man in Black is William, and this and that. Now I think of course we know there's tons of timelines. You have Dolores bringing up Arnold to William, and he's kind of like, Arnold, what are you talking about? I'm here, let's go. So that was kind of interesting to be like, okay, everybody knows who Arnold is except William. So what's going on there?
Right.
I think now the question is, how many of these characters have been in all the timelines? Who has been there the longest? I mean, Ford, of course, is there. Is it Bernard too? Where do these characters overlap?
Right. So speaking of MIB and other hosts' timelines, we see him in Maeve's timeline. So the whole tragic backstory that Maeve has in her memories that she's recalling was MIB just testing it out to see how he would feel if he killed a woman and her kid, which was super messed up.
Yeah.
But then when they brought her in to fix her up, she was still freaking out about the kid, and that's kind of the start of Maeve recollecting things and not being able to let go, and just being this special kind of host. And now she can control other hosts. So I think she's building her army, and I think we were shown that whole, basically refrigerator of hosts that are in play right now, and she's just going to activate them all, and they'll be part of her army.
Right.
Yeah.
Buddy, do you have any thoughts on Maeve?
Maeve in particular, I think HBO did a great job for all of the adolescent males watching the show. They had a scene of Maeve in a reflection where you got to actually see 6 boobs. There's one actress, 6 boobs. Great job, HBO. But also, she says something and does something with one of the texts that they were having some type of discussion. She says, even at a 14, you're no match for blah, blah, blah. Gives the guy a number.
Yeah.
So either she's just assigning a random, D&D charisma number to this dude arbitrarily, or he's a fucking host. The texts are hosts. Also, I don't know how human beings work, but usually you can't solder someone's neck.
No,
Some
usually that
crazy
doesn't work.
helium.
How many necks were cut in this episode?
There was a lot. Even Man in Black had a cut on his neck.
Yeah, there was no meter for how many necks got sliced.
Yeah.
Most of them were by Maeve.
Right.
Many necks sliced. So, any thoughts on Teddy, guys, really quick before we jump out? He's starting to remember, so he's retaining his memories of seeing MIB before.
There was just one little thing. I don't really have any theories about Teddy at this moment, but so there was a Minotaur, right?
Yeah.
A maze and a Minotaur. They're just throwing a Hokum tribe stuff at us and weird I don't know.
Yeah, what was
Greek
up
is
with
Greek.
that?
Minotaur's Greek.
Yeah.
Greek.
I think it's
Maybe.
Minotaur.
It was very hard to.
The Knights of Ni
I'm
come
really
out.
sorry. Delos Minotaur. You
He was
friggin' nerd.
very hard to take down too, and he got some serious hits on the Man in Black.
Yeah.
I did think it was cool how we saw
Big
a
ol'
picture of that Minotaur on the writer's
Yes.
wall. So clearly he was involved in creating that.
Yeah.
But what else has he created
of
for
the
Wyatt's army?
narrative.
What else does Wyatt have under his control?
So yeah, we've got 2 episodes left, guys. 2 left. Any predictions before we jump out?
I predict that they won't cleanly end anything, so we're left like this for an entire season.
They are renewed for a second season.
I think we're going to find out a lot of people are hosts that we were not expecting.
Yeah.
I think Maeve might even turn Bernard or try to rewrite stories of people outside of Westworld now that she has that crazy Ford ability.
My goodness. I think some people are going to help some hosts escape, and then they're going to explode because they thought that they were human. But their spies are just going to blow them up as they leave. They're like, we'll help you.
And then they just slowly walk away. Okay.
You should have seen to that guy's spine.
And
One thing, just
Yes.
to touch back on my reoccurring Ford as a host thing.
Yeah.
He did refer to himself a couple times as a man this time. Or he said we when talking about humans. But he also said something creepy to Bernard, which was like, "You're not the first man," referring to Bernard as a man, to threaten me, which means I think that sometimes he doesn't differentiate between hosts and men in his like speech.
Yeah.
So, in case you guys thought that my theory was disproved by his speech patterns, they don't ever match. So shut up. Ford's a host.
Just correct Buddy on something else this week. Leave it in the comments below.
Minotaur. Speaking of the comments below, we have changes to this show, guys.
We do. We are taking your comments. As you saw earlier in this episode, we're rolling your comments in, so give us your theories. We will work them into the episodes. We'll give you credit if you were right, if we were wrong. All right, guys, any last theories, Gaj?
I do think Bernard is starting to get more and more credence of being Arnold. Like, some of the questions he started asking Ford were very similar questions that Arnold had once asked him, and Ford even made a point to note that to him, saying, like, you also, like, there was another man that had asked me these same questions. And so I started to think, like, Bernard could very well be made in Arnold image. Like, he might have created Bernard to look like him.
I still agree with that.
Yeah.
Either that or Arnold's uploaded into Dolores.
Yeah?
Both.
That would explain the voices.
Both, yes, all the voices. So it's not just us leaving theories, you are also leaving theories for us, so please leave them in the comments below. We'll work them into the next episode. We've only got 2 episodes left, so help us come up with some theories. And we'll talk about it next week. And for all things nerding out, stick with GameSpot Universe.